I was invited to my grandson Adil's house for dinner. It had been months since he last visited me. I assumed he was busy, work, marriage, life. These things keep the young occupied. Still, when he finally called and said, "Dada Abu, we'd love to have you over," my heart warmed. I wore my neat grey kurta, polished my shoes, and carried with me a small gift, a wristwatch. It wasn't expensive, but it was something I had kept from my working years, lightweight, silver, and elegant. I wanted to give it to Adil as a memory, something passed from one generation to the next. When I arrived, the house was glowing with lights. His wife, Zara, greeted me politely but coldly, like someone forced to be nice. Adil came out of the kitchen, wiping his hands. "Assalamu alaikum, Dada Abu," he said loudly, but the spark in his voice felt artificial. "Wa alaikum assalam, Beta," I replied softly. I handed him the small box. "This is for you." He opened it, glanced at the watch, and chuckled. "Dada Abu, this is so old-fashioned. Where am I supposed to wear this? At a museum?" Zara laughed behind him. They both looked at each other as if sharing a private joke. My smile froze. "It belonged to me for many years," I whispered. "I thought you might like to keep it." Adil shrugged. "Thanks, but I only wear smartwatches now. You should have asked." He placed the gift aside carelessly on the counter. Something in my chest tightened, but I stayed silent. We sat for dinner. The table was full of dishes, biryani, kebabs, raita, salad. Everything looked perfect, except the company. Adil talked about his new job, his new car, his new contacts, his new everything. Zara interrupted every few minutes to add a detail or correct him. I tried to join the conversation gently. "Adil Beta," I said, smiling, "I heard you're leading a new project now. Mashallah, your father would have been very proud." He swallowed, then leaned back in his chair. "Oh please, Dada Abu, that project is very technical. You wouldn't understand even if I explained." Zara giggled. "Yes, it's complicated, not like the simple work people did in the old days." Simple work was raising a family simple. Surviving hardships simple. Building a life from nothing simple. But I swallowed my pride. I didn't want conflict. "Maybe you can try," I said with kindness. "I enjoy learning from you." Adil rolled his eyes. "Dada Abu, seriously, you still struggle with your phone. How will you understand high-level project dynamics? Let's not waste time." The words hit me harder than I expected. Zara looked away to hide her smile. That was the moment the silence around me became unbearable. I felt like a guest in my own bloodline. Still, I remained calm. "It's okay, Beta, talk about whatever you like." But Adil wasn't done. "You know," he said, lowering his voice, "but not enough. Sometimes I think parents and grandparents just act helpless to get attention." Zara nodded. "Exactly, like they want us to stop our lives for them." Then he said it. The sentence that sliced me open. "Honestly, Dada Abu, if you want to stay relevant, you should try to keep up. Otherwise, people get left behind." Relevant. Left behind. By my own grandson. My hands trembled slightly under the table. I looked at him, not at the Adil I raised on my lap, not the boy who used to cry when I left for work, not the child whose homework I helped with. This was someone else. Someone who had forgotten whose shoulders he stood on. Dinner ended with formal smiles. Adil barely walked me to the door. "Next time," he said casually, "let me know if you want to give me something. I'm particular about what I use." "Of course," I answered, my voice thin. When I reached home, I placed my hand on the old wooden chair near the window. It had belonged to my wife. She used to say, "Ilyas, people change when their hearts grow shallow." Now I understood. The next morning, Adil called again. "Dada Abu, next Sunday is the family lunch. Don't forget, okay?" I took a deep breath. "Beta, I won't be coming." "What, why?" he asked, shocked. "I am cancelling all future invitations. I said slowly. I've realized something very important. Respect is not served on the dinner table. It is shown in words, tone, manners. He was silent. I love you, Adil, I continued, but I will not go anywhere I am made to feel small, outdated, or irrelevant. I may be old, but I am not invisible. Dada Abu, you're overreacting. No, I said firmly. Last night, you humiliated me in front of your wife, and the saddest part is you didn't even realize. I could hear him breathing heavily. I'm sorry, he muttered. Beta, I replied gently, being sorry is easy, changing is hard. For the first time, Adil had nothing to say. I ended the call, placed the old wristwatch back into its box, and locked it in the drawer. Someday, maybe, Adil would come looking for it. Someday, maybe, he would realize its worth. Someday, maybe, he would remember who taught him to walk before he learned to run. Until then, I would keep my dignity safe, away from those who forget its value. Because getting old is not a weakness, but forgetting your elders is.